even before you get to the point of selecting your firm, you need to know what you need. So, in other words, you need to be clear on the scope of your project. What is the specific problem that you're trying to solve, and what are the outcomes that you are expecting from the project? And that will help you define this is the type of project that I need for the company. And from that, you'll be able to define what is the capability you need. So, what is a capability? The capability is the type of consulting that a company will provide to you. So, is it a strategy project that you're looking at? Is it about process optimization? Is it IT transformation? And knowing that will help you define what kind of consulting firm you can work with. Because consulting firm, they are often, described as a matrix, if you will, between, what type of consulting they provide and what industry they work with. So knowing that is super important. And of course, the next step is the industry expertise. So that's an important point, but it's not always mandatory as opposed to the capability one. Let's imagine that you need operations, consulting, and what you're looking at is considering your specific, manufacturing process. How can we improve things and being more predictive? In that case, you may be looking for very in-depth expertise based on what type of manufacturing you have. While on other topics, like human capital, for instance, you may not be in need of such a deep industry expertise. So all of this is part of what you're trying to achieve and what type of project you're looking at. So do you need a company that knows your industry deeply, or can they work across sectors? It's more or less that. So that's a very important part. And then there's another part that is often overlooked. It's the cultural fit. So there's many ways to look at it. One is that you want them to work well with you and to work well with you as an organization, but also as individuals. And depending on who you are, the type of consultants that we will work with you might and differ. And it's kind of a complicated thing. And fit, like human interactions are always complicated, right? So the whole point here is to think about all the obvious elements, cultural differences, language, values in terms of organizational values, ways of working, and but also, more precisely, for instance, backgrounds. I'll give you an example. Let's imagine that you are working on a project on make or buy, um, for very, very technical activities. And you want to bring in the room some technical experts that are people who were previously on the ground and are now in place of expertise or are still on the ground, actually. And the whole work will be about defining which activity can be outsourced and which activity must be kept in house. On such project, the people you have in the room are people on the ground. The consultant you bring in, who are they? So the fun part about that is it's a real project that are participated in, not as a consultant, but as a expert coming in. And the choice that was made was to work with one of those big consulting firms with very bright young consultants. And it didn't work very well. And it's not because the consultant did a bad work. It's not because they were not good at what they did. It's because the discrepancy between who they were and who the people in the room were was so huge that it was hard to reconcile that. So, and what I mean by that is that the project might have gone faster and easier if the consultant had been more senior and more expert on operations, but on like real life on the ground, the field expertise. You know what I mean? So that's something that is often overlooked, but it can be extremely important.